Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blessed Performance YouTube channel. Today we are installing an RCD CPX pump in the, honestly, NHRDA truck. I know it's weird, but that's, you know, we're gonna work on both of them here at Blessed Performance. So anyways, today Brandon's gonna be working on this. We're gonna showcase this to you. If you look at this one here, we got 100% stock truck back here. We're gonna show you guys how to tear it down and install the CPX pump. Now we do have a little bit of a cheat code because we have a later model truck, so we don't have to worry about the vacuum pump gasket in our truck. If you have an earlier truck, you do want to make sure you do a vacuum pump gasket. That's the only thing we're not going to cover here because we have the O-ring vacuum pump gasket on ours. I'm going to spin this camera around. Everybody say hi to Brandon. So Brandon's going to be working on this. We're doing a lot of upgrades to this truck to get it ready to go for the NHRDA tow pig. That being said, number one is this is a 220,000 mile truck here. I got a really good deal on this truck, and because of that, the 220,000 miles, we're going to get ahead of the curve here and show you guys how to do a CPX pump. So Brandon pulled out, he's already drained the coolant, which we're going to go a little bit further than you have to, but needless to say, Brandon's already drained the coolant because we're doing a new intercooler over there. No Limit hooked us up with these right here and right here. No Limit turbo. A couple other things that they're going to be hooking up with. But needless to say, we're going to show you guys how to do a CPX pump. It'll be a little cliff notey, I'm not going to lie, but it's going to get the general rule of thumb here. First things first, obviously drain the coolant. It'll be a lot easier to work on this stuff. Then from there, you're going to start tearing into the valley of the truck. This guy is a pain in the butt to pull. It's not fun.
It's better than the newer aluminum ones, though.
Yeah, good point. It is. I think it is easier than the newer aluminum one. Got to pull this plastic thing out of here because, you know, that's dumb. And then from there, you would want to do a piping kit. Duh. Why would you want plastic in your engine?
The knuckle cracker.
Yeah, that thing definitely does eat some knuckles alive right there. So, of course, we're going to pull here, pull your EGR crossover tubes and stuff, get all that out of the way. And then from there, I mean, it is pretty straightforward from there. Then you're going to take your belt off, take your fan hub assembly. It's 6 bolts. The bottom one down here is a, excuse my language, pain in the rear end. I would like to say some other words, but I can't because it's YouTube. That one is pain. And then what you would do is you take and lean your fan hub assembly forward, pull your vacuum pumps off, grab your 24, I think it's a 24. We'll verify that size on the you think it's a 24 as well? I can't remember. Verify that size when we get there. Take your nut off of your gear, off the gear for your pump. Give it a little tappy tap with a hammer. Grab the gear, bring it out. From there, take the 3 bolts that hold the CPX pump in, or CP4 pump in, out, pull it backwards, done. Then put it all back together, reverse. Showcase that to you guys as we go along here. Brandon so far has already got the batteries out. He's getting ready, he's working on, Brandon, what are you working on?
Taking the upper intake off.
Taking the upper intake manifold off, and then the lower, and so forth and so on. So Brandon's got a lot of these bolts out right here. These 10 millimeters all the way around. Got a sensor there, that's your map sensor. One over, a couple bolts over there. Is that all of it left so far?
Your dipstick hold downs, and then, yeah, that top one should be able to come off.
We're gonna showcase it from here. There's those 3 right there. He's gonna get the dipstick ones, and then you got your intake ones right there that you gotta get to, and probably the harder ones out of the back one on the back side of that. There's 4 bolts, just like this, right here, around here, on both sides that hold it to the intake plenum. It's really hard to see with this camera, but once we get it out, we'll showcase that to you guys. You're gonna want swivel heads and stuff like that to get that stuff out of there for sure. From there, you would pull that bad boy out and then take your lower intake out. Keep working through it. Talking.
That's an oops.
Oops.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is where you have to pull a valve cover.
Yep. That's when it gets really bad.
This damn thing, too.
Yeah, it's our bitch. older those are, the harder those are to remove.
Surprisingly though, your freaking exhaust EGR deals
came out easy, huh?
came out like butter.
Nice. Sweet deal. There's the CP4. Yummy. Oh, how's that turbo look? You should see how. Oh, fine, huh? Good deal.
Real good.
Cool. Alrighty. Brandon, where are we at?
Just taking out the vac pump right.
Okay, so if you guys look, you can see that the fan hub assembly is just hanging out down in there right now, okay? Basically, you take your belt off, you got them 5 bolts, 6 bolts? Is it 5 or 6? I can't remember.
These big bastards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 of them, okay?
I took the tensioner out also.
Okay, you can pull the tensioner, you don't have to, but it probably makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I think it actually traps one of the bolts in, so that's why I took it out.
You can get it without it. I will say that. I have done it without it, but I respect 110% what Brandon did because it probably makes it a little bit easier than me. Show him your hands there, Brandon. Let's see. Let's see here. See, this is what happens when you work on these things. So, from there, Brandon just pulled the vacuum pump, and if you guys notice, on 7 or I think it's 15 or whatever later, they get to the O-ring. I can't remember what year that starts, but early years, you need to make sure you have a vacuum pump seal when you do anything with CP4. That is a must. Just for reference again, here's the pile to get down into there, okay? Which, you wouldn't be pulling the battery boxes. We got some no limit fancy battery boxes and stuff, but you would be pulling the intake, upper radiator hose, just get it out of the way, easier to work on that stuff in the valley. Some of this stuff, you kind of just have to remove it, but the intake we're talking about, the 4 bolts, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the plenums right here. This is where your dipstick tubes will mount, okay? These ones back here can be kind of a pain on the back. Just 100% honestly, they can be a major pain in the butt to get to, okay? So, definitely recommend making sure that you have some wallies to get to those. From there, there's the nut right there. 27.
It might fit a little bit better.
I couldn't remember if it was a 24 or 27. I think I have a chrome one in there too.
Yeah, I was gonna find it.
Yep, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect right there. I have the chrome one in there as well. Technically, you should be able to break that free with a ratchet. I have had them fight me a little bit, put a little heat on there, and then hit it with a 3/8 impact, it'll come out. So then once he's done with that, and we might do a time lapse of him doing this. Once that's out, there's 3 bolts back here, okay, on the back side here, but you have to come through and take all your lines, get them all out of the way, get them all loose, okay. Obviously, we would recommend grabbing a vacuum and cleaning up the rat's nest that all these trucks have in the valley before you pull this out. You pull this and then give it a little tappity tap with a hammer, a small ball peen hammer or something. One smack. Once you get that out of the way, should allow this to come out, gear to come out without a problem, and then the pump to come out without a problem, okay? So, yeah, that's where we're at. Having fun there, Brandon? He says, yep. I appreciate his help. Sure is nice. Sometimes I can still do other work, and Brandon's been here, 4 or 5 years now as part-time, around other work, and he's been turning wrenches. I think I've taught him a lot, but now he can do this stuff on his own now. But it's nice. I trust that he does great work for us, so I can get other work done, and he can tackle these projects that we have going on sometimes. So up next, I don't know how I'm going to hook this thing up, but I'm going to try to do a time lapse. Oh shoot. This video, and then we will I'll say hi. All right, folks. Brandon now has the pump out, and we're going to show you what a 220,000 mile regulator looks like with proper maintenance. 0 issues. This follows up with that video that where I was talking about, listen, there's some good options on the market for upgrades for a CP4 if you want to go that way. If you want to replace the CP4 and never run one, you can. This is why, right here, I'm not deathly afraid of the CP4 like a lot of people are, because you know what? When you proper maintenance, which, man, I have a 200,000 mile truck back here, and I'm going to show you guys the inside of it just because, when you take care of your stuff, this is what you get. nothing's wrong with this truck. When you properly maintain these trucks, good filters, good, do fuel, keep the fuel above a quarter tank always, do some additive, do your oil changes on time. Just honestly give a damn about your truck. You don't have any problems. Like, look at that, it is spotless. Yep, looks good to me. What do you think? Golden, right?
Good. Put her back in. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to run that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be one bit afraid. That being said, we are going to upgrade it to a 45%er right there. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. So, Brandon, any tech tips you want to talk about in the process of taking this thing down? Because we're not going to continue this video and it's going to get too long and it's going to get too boring for people. But
just be patient. I mean, I left all the hard lines in. We're good. We'll end up replacing most of them with the new CPX system anyway, so I'll take them out here in a little bit. But I left them in just for the fact that most of you guys ain't going to do that if you're just replacing just the pump, if you're just doing an upgrade. So it can be done. But like I said, we're going to be yarding out the rest of the line, so it'll make it a lot easier if you're doing that. But just be patient, take your time.
Perfect. I mean, that's really the best way I can put it. Take your time, be patient. From here, it's literally reverse. I recommend cleaning up in here, you know. Yeah. But you know, put your cam gear or put your gear on. Yep. Make sure that it lines up with on the pump over here. Make sure that it lines up with this guy right here.
We'll have to time the gear on the cam gear, because we'll have to put that one at top to get this on, and then when we put the new CPX in, we'll have to line all this junk, this line and the one on the cam gear together. Yep. With the new CPX anyway, so we'll have to do some engine turning. But
so what Brandon's talking about is, here's your timing gears, okay? Your timing right here. So by technicality, because it's a high pressure oil system, you don't have to actually time it for it to run. We do it just because it's the way that Ford designed it. So there's two timing marks right here, and then it's a fail-safe on this gear right. Oh shoot. Let me get this in here. How about that, Matt? That might help a little bit. It's dark in here, so I don't know if it's going to help at all. But on this gear right here, you can roll your engine over by turning that bad boy around, okay? And you'll find the single line that goes up. You're going to find a double and a single, okay? And you'll want to line up the single so when you put the pump back in, it's all done properly. Like that really, the only other tech tip we got. I mean, that's pretty much it. From there, it's just reverse. Put it all back together. And now's a good time to look at upgrading to like a piping kit, intercooler, getting the new CCV kit, the new one we have in stock, the new updated Ford one that is like half the size of that thing, but it flows better than the junk one. So that way you protect the upper oil pan on these things, which we're going to be putting that in on this one as well. Clean the truck up, get rid of some of this nastiness in here. But this is a 220,000 mile truck, and although it literally purrs like a kitten, I got such a good deal on it. As you can see, no rust. Thing runs absolutely top notch. I put 5,000 on it like a week after I got it, and look at how clean this thing is on the inside. Just goes to show, when you take care of your trucks, you really don't have to worry about anything, because this thing's in amazing condition, and so is that CP4 up here. So, you know, obviously it's a little loud back here because we got some people here, but I am right here. This is a clear sign of why I understand why people, I understand like that they fail. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying I can almost prove every single time one of these has failed, it's been from improper maintenance, running the running the tank too low, bad fuel, or putting DF in your tank, in your fuel system. Like that's, I don't know, gas that's caused it. When you properly maintain that guy, it doesn't fail. So, of course, everybody's being super loud in the background. Oh, what was I doing here? I was gonna spin this thing around, but he's back! All right, everybody, it's Brandon. I'm Matt. I think you guys know that. Without you guys, we don't get to do what we do, so we appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next video. This is how you install a CPX pump, a CP4, replace your CP4, whatever you want to call it. Reach out to us. We have them in stock and ready to ship. We've got the stock plus, which is like 10%, the 35%, and then the 45%, no, 25% and 45%. pumps options in stock and ready to ship. 2011 to 2026 currently. We definitely recommend taking a look at these pumps when you're looking at replacing your CP4. Like I said, there's some great options on the market, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to showcase how to ensure that you can go 200 and something thousand miles without worrying about a CP4, because here's proof of it. And although I didn't own this truck that time, the owner of the truck took very good care of it, and that's why I bought it for what, I mean, on the spot, didn't even question it, and I'm very happy with it. Thank you again. Truly appreciate you guys. Appreciate the support you give us, and we'll see you out there racing sometime.